Yeah, we're good.
All right, we're live. We did it. Took a little bit of time, but we are live for the Mano Pod. Cars, I'm excited for this, brother.
Me too.
So, little background. We'll do quick little intros for everything, why we're doing this, and then I'll go into kind of the layout of this. Honestly, this is going to be super unorganized, and that's exactly how we want it. So, we'll see how this goes. But we are in what I'm calling the Mano Mobile. This is what I just purchased with my company, Mano Wellness, just purchased. And it is a mobile van for a variety of things, in-person training, group training, community events, just a lot of community engagement and stuff like that. So we're going to be doing the Mano Pod out of the Mano Mobile. It's going to be pretty cool because our setup is going to change over time. Right now it's all janky. I don't even have any shelving set up. It's all just like sitting on the floor right now, and that's why this was just a hot mess to put together, but we're here. So quick little brief intros. I'm gonna let Carson go first, and then I will go into it, but
yeah, I mean, it's sick. The mobile is super cool, aesthetically pleasing. I'm excited to watch you take this around town, but just a quick intro. My name's Carson. Went to high school with Ant, met him way back in the day, kind of been ripping it together ever since. This podcast came about. We like to go on walks together, long walks, and started peppering him with questions about fitness. I'm interested in fitness, but I'm like everyone else. I like to drink, I like to party, I like to eat food. So kind of finding a healthy balance, and our conversations just turned into, hey, more people need to hear about this. So wanted to jump in front of you guys and kind of pick his brain and get as much knowledge into your hands as possible, as coming from a regular guy like me, just asking regular questions that everyone seems to wonder and what pops up on my Instagram. And I'm like, hey, Ant, what's this about? Hey, Ant, what's this about? So I think opening it up to you guys will be good for you guys.
Yeah, I'm excited for that too, because especially for me, I am a health coach. So I coach in nutrition, exercise, lifestyle, mental health, sleep, all of the things that are encompassing in health. And actually, that's where I started. I started with coaching, and then it grew to me doing a rebrand from my old company that was called Mano Training when I was doing one-on-one coaching to now Mano Wellness, which is what I like to call a complete coaching platform. So it's not me as a coach. I'm growing it by hiring coaches, bringing people on so that we can help more people. And one of the biggest things, at least in my own journey, from being a one-on-one coach, from being in the health spaces, I'll be the first to say it. I know I'm very extreme. I absolutely love this lifestyle, the nutrition, the exercise. I'm crazy about it. You guys will get an idea. But one of the best things, especially that me and Carson are going to bring, is that he brings like the kind of the regular guy out of me again, where it's so easy for me to get into the science and get excited about that stuff. But I was just like Carson was. I went to college, went to James Madison, was a partier, and I'm not doing that kind of lifestyle anymore, but I lived it. That's where I started, and that's where I think we're going to really bring a lot of value, is kind of coming together, one, really breaking in so I can give that realistic nutrition, exercise, just like wellness information out to you guys at a very broad level, and then we'll kind of go from there. So in terms of the setup of this, we don't really have a setup. We're going to go through different topics. Like we said, our conversations on walks are so cool, and that's what I was like, yo, we got to bring that to a podcast. So I know Carson has a few questions lined up. We're going to just kind of go question based and let the conversation go. In terms of how we're going to section these episodes off, we'll see. We're going to do like bulk recordings, record them all at once, and then kind of just post them however we want to do. But any feedback that you guys have, any recommendations, suggestions, topics, throw them in the comments, and we'll definitely get around to them. So let's get into the first topic, first question. I don't know if you have one.
Yeah, nothing off the top. I just want to say you guys are going to have to bear with me. Obviously, you're super comfortable in front of the camera. He's been doing videos for the last 3 years. This is my first time in front of the camera. So you guys are going to have to just bear with me a little bit. Don't be like, that guy's a little shy. He's a little this. He's a little that. He's super confident.
I'm still not comfortable.
You had a little bit of practice.
I've had practice. I wouldn't say I'm confident, though. I just... Look, I think, and you'll know this, the more that we can just be ourselves, the more value we'll provide, and that's what we're gonna do. So, give me a little. I know you went on a walk this morning.
I did.
Give me a little walk thought that you had. That
I'm not gonna lie, I was a little nervous for the podcast, so I was like, I was like, what route should we go? This and that. But I think I wanted to start primarily with a post I sent you. I think it was last week about alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
I love the party. I've said that before. I'm actually going. Last year I did 75 hard. This time I'm trying some dry days together here. Hopefully 60, maybe 90. So I go through stretches of going to the gym, not drinking, being healthy, and then like everyone else, I hit the holidays, and I can't tell you the last time I didn't have a beer. It's been a lot of days together. So I think I saw a post come across by the Attorney General. I sent it to you. Yeah. And it said they were going to start putting warning labels on alcohol. I sent it to you. I said, Ant, we all know alcohol is bad. All right. I can see myself blacked out in the bedroom. I know it's bad. Why are they going to start putting warning labels on it? I saw there were some studies behind it. I didn't go in depth about it being related to cancer, but I wanted to pick your brain on the effects of alcohol long term more than short term. We know what it does to us short term, or at least I do, but long term, what's it doing to me?
Yeah, so this will give you guys a good idea too. When Carson sent this to me, I went into a rabbit hole. I just dove right into the research, and the biggest value that I have is I got my master's degree in exercise science, but it taught me how to read research and look into this stuff. So that's where all my information is coming from. But then also, it's also just going to come from experience. I just want to preface with that because, look, there's going to be things that I say that may not be backed by research, but it's backed by my personal experience. There's going to be things that I say that are backed by research. So what I really want everyone to do is take it, understand it, but then have your own kind of perception of it or your own reaction to it rather than just taking it for granted and taking it literally. So, so the reason that they are really trying to put those labels on alcohol now is because, one, there's more and more data coming out about the effects of alcohol, especially long-term effects. It's pretty interesting, though, because you would think something that has been in our life forever. I mean, you like, for example, Game of Thrones. They're drinking wine all the time. It's literally been in our life forever. You would think that we kind of know this at this point, but the biggest scare that came out of that specific post was relating alcohol now to cancer. And the reason why this is very interesting is because we know alcohol is bad for us in a way, right? A lot of people think about it, like liver, like what are some of the things that you think about when you think about the negative things with alcohol?
Honestly, for me personally, I know if I drink on a Saturday night, Sunday morning is not great, and the diet goes terribly. And I wear this watch now, and I know for a fact the next day I'm awful, and then that leaks into my Monday, my Tuesday, my Wednesday, and then all of a sudden I'm ripping it again the next weekend. So long-term effects, I don't know much about it, to be honest with you. Stuff. And I see people who have drank. I work at a bar too. I bartend a night or two a week, so I can see long-term effects of drinking just from the looks of some people. Mm-hmm. You can tell, which is sad to say, but I don't know. I just know how it makes me feel in the short term.
I think that's a good way to kind of break it down. So we have short-term and long-term effects. I feel like most people that aren't in the health space, they feel the short-term effects of alcohol. So
no doubt.
However it affects your next day.
Everyone knows what we're talking about.
Right, your relationships, all that kind of stuff. That's
the scaries?
Yeah, right? Everything.
The scaries.
The scaries. That's what we assume, right? But now they're really seeing in this research these long-term effects. And cancer is being significantly one of them. It's very, if you want to compare it to cigarettes, the reason it's so different with cigarettes is, think about the short-term effects of cigarettes. Like, they're not the same as alcohol, I don't feel like.
I don't think so. I never had one.
But
actually.
everyone, the first thing think about cigarettes is lung cancer. It's cancer.
Right.
Right. So now it's the script is kind of flipping with alcohol where, yes, we know the short-term effects, but now we're seeing the long-term effects. So regarding that label, going back to the question, it's all about what we're seeing in the long-term data with the effects of alcohol and how it is actually increasing the risk for cancers. And what's really scary is it is now, and this is why this whole thing came out with the Surgeon General, it is now the third leading cause of death for preventable things, right? When we're thinking about preventable things, it's things that are like in our lifestyle that we can change. Obesity was number one. Smoking, cigarettes was number two, and now alcohol
As
is
it relates
number
to
three.
cancer,
No, as it relates to mortality, so death, that is preventable from lifestyle,
gotcha.
right? So this is very different from like what is the biggest cause of death in Americans in general, right? Like cardiovascular disease is one of them. Yes, you can say it's preventable, but we mean like things that you can do on a day to day and change. Alcohol, smoking, and obesity, right? Eating those kind of foods. But what's really interesting about this and scary, which is a little extra from the label, is that, so let me back up. That's why they want to put the label on it, because it's now the third leading cause of a preventable mortality risk.
Good.
So if we can prevent that by putting a label on it, that's the biggest thing there. That's the label side of it. What's scary when I dove a little deeper into it was alcohol actually increases the other two too. Right? When
Drunk
you
cigs.
drink, drunk cigs. Right? When
Or
you
you're
drink,
puffing that nicotine.
what's after the drunk cigs though?
You're eating.
Right? So, and there is, I can even get into the nutritional science, the biochemistry behind why alcohol actually makes us want to eat more, and especially those unhealthier foods. But that's the scarier part for me, is that one, yes, it's now in the top three of mortality, but it also increases your chance to smoke, and it increases your obesity.
It's contributing to everything.
Right? Because smoking has no calories. And actually,
Probably suppresses your appetite.
it does. It suppresses your appetite. If you think about Europe, right? Europe is smoking is very common.
Oh, dude, they're ripping those things down.
They're ripping ciggies,
Oof.
and they are in good shape.
Slender.
Because they walk a lot. They have higher quality food. That goes down a whole rabbit hole that we'll eventually get into.
Yeah. I want to talk about that, but
Yeah, but they don't make you eat more food, and it's just really just cigarette smoking, the tar, the chemicals that are in it lead to lung cancer, lead to cancer. Alcohol, yes, the actual drinking of the alcohol does lead to cancer, but it also increases cigarettes and obesity.
you know another point I wanted to talk to you about on this, and I was talking it with my buddy Albert. You'll hear me say his name, Albert. We'll have to get him on just like
Yeah, let's do it.
because we chat a lot at the gym. It's the guy I go to the gym with, and we have random conversations. The last time I went dry, and I don't know if you read up on this when you were diving into alcohol, your mind feels so sharp when you go extended amount of time without drinking. You can see your skin actively get clearer by the day. You feel sharp, you feel great, you have more energy, your skin's clear. Dude, it's just so fun at the bar with your buddies. I wish it wasn't, because there's nothing like going out on a Saturday night, having a good time, having some laughs, having some drinks. But when you do give it up, you know deep down inside you are 100% better, and I just wish we had an alternative to it. I really do.
So I want to touch on the feelings and why alcohol causes our feelings, and then I want to go into the social aspect, because this is something that we touch on that I think is so important to talk about, because I think that's how people are going to be able to have a better relationship with it.
Side note, real quick, the thing I'm interested in, and we'll have to keep an eye on it moving forward when it was being added to the label, from a business side of things, obesity, smoking, they control both of those for health insurance wise. Now that it's added to the label, something to think. If they can track your drinking, if that creeps into what your health insurance costs, it's going to be something to think about, because once it's on the label, they can start denying claims.
That's a great point.
From a business side of things, we'll keep an eye on that moving forward.
Well, and that's another thing I want to touch on in the future, is that business space too, because now if we're bringing in money to it, it adds so much to
100%.
it. So what is actually happening with alcohol, the reason that you feel so clear and all that is because the substance of alcohol is a toxin. Like, our body recognizes as a poison. So what happens is, if our body recognizes it as a poison, it's going to get rid of it. The human body's unbelievable. Like,
it's crazy.
It's
a
going
machine.
to try to.
The more and more I talk to you about the human body, I'm like, this thing's a masterpiece.
Insane, right? So what our human body does across the board is tries to get in the state of homeostasis, just like regularity, just regularness. So if it has a toxin, a poison coming in, it's going to try to get rid of it, right? And it has to go through. I'm not going to go into like the details of like the breakdown of alcohol and all that kind of stuff, but it has to go through this process where it's going to sacrifice some of the good things that it does to get rid of the bad.
So immediately drink one, your body starts freaking out.
No, the research shows that we can metabolize one drink of alcohol per hour. That is kind of like the standard drink, but relating back to this cancer thing, we're now seeing, and this is why the label it came out with this Surgeon General, is because we're now seeing that one standard drink is too high. Is too high. So
that's nothing.
So that's where it gets a little dangerous, right? And it's different for males and females. It's different with body weight. It's different. People can metabolize alcohol differently as well. So that's why there's not a clear number to set to it, but knowing that one standard American drink, right? That's one beer, that's one glass of wine, one shot of whiskey. Generally, we can metabolize that, but that does not mean that it's not having a negative effect.
Right.
But once you have two, right? Once we get in the space of binge drinking and getting drunk and getting that little buzz, like that's when you're stacking the poisons. And now we really can't flush it out. So anything else on that before we go on like the social thing? Because I think the social thing's super interesting.
No, I'm going to have a question at the end, but
so
I'm good.
I want to start the social thing. And if by the way, we could just drop at any point.
Oh my God, these things are.
We just picked these chairs up at Marshall's for $12 each, and yeah. So we'll see if we drop. We're gonna keep going. But so I want to preface this with like where I'm at right now with alcohol, me personally, but where I came from and where I was and how I got here.
Okay.
I personally, I don't drink that much. I probably have 1 to 2 drinks a month, to be honest, and that has even decreased as well. And the reason for me is like one, I'm a nutrition guy, I'm an exercise guy. Like when I drink alcohol, I know what's happening in my body. I can literally picture the pathophysiology of the whole thing. So
just to follow up, I'm drinking 2 to 3 before I get to the bar.
Right.
So we're in a little different spots.
Spots, right? But I was there too. And I want to touch on that, but that's where I have a different mindset where it's a lot easier for me. So keep that in mind when I talk about the social aspect. It's easier for me because I can think about the in the moment health detriments, and this goes into like unhealthy foods that we'll talk about, and not getting your workout and stuff like that. So for me, college, I went to James Madison. It was a public university. I was there for 6 years, 4 undergrad and then 2 grad for my my exercise science degree. And
dude, you played rugby there.
I played rugby.
You drank.
I was drinking through and through. I mean, we would.
Fifth and a friend?
Oh, so many, too many. Did we finish them?
What were you gonna do?
Absolutely.
What were you gonna do?
Well, we're gonna stay zip tied the whole time. You gotta get that. So. I was there too, and I think one of the most important things for me was one, educating myself, right? And that's why I kind of learned like what is actually happening. So I think the education for a lot of people is key. Education around nutrition, education around exercise, like that is where you're gonna actually learn the true why. It's not that. Like, the true why shouldn't be like, oh, alcohol has excess calories or it's going to make me eat more and make me gain weight and then my physique isn't going to be as good. Like, yes, that can be a reason, but that's not the why. So I think once I really started educating myself, and then once I really started asking myself, like, the biggest question with alcohol was, like, does this make me better at any point? So, like, when I was out later, like, after graduation, and I would go out for a drink, and, you know, you have 2 or 3, and then you're contemplating that 4th or whatever.
That's a
that
slippery
extra
slope. 3 is right where you're like, am I having a night?
You're contemplating if you're having a night or not.
Yeah,
that's where I was like, is this going to make me better? And the answer, we always know the answer. There's a very rare time when the answer is yes, but the time that the 1 to 2 drinks that I do have per month is when my dad asked me on a Saturday night, hey, you want to have a drink at the bar or something? Hell
Why
yeah.
not?
Like that's or the social. If we go out at the bar,
we went to the game last week. Or
I had a drink, right?
Yeah.
It's like that's where it brings in the social aspect of it so that I can be social, and that's a huge important aspect of health. But where you also don't get the detriments.
Right.
But that took time. The biggest thing I want to emphasize from that thing is that took time for me, where I went from binge drinking in college just like normal. Then I started educating myself. I started really feeling how, one, bad it made me feel, but also how good it made me feel when I didn't do it, kind of like you said.
Right.
And then after, this is 3 years later now, I am
It's been
now
that
down
long.
to 1 to 2 drinks
Yeah, it has been that long.
per month. So it took a while.
If you do have 1 to 2 drinks, are you seeking out the seltzers? Are you seeking out, like, I'm a big vodka water guy. Are you seeking out vodka waters? Tequila. I heard tequila is if you're going to drink tequila.
Yeah.
It's the most healthy. Are you seeking out specific drinks, or at that point, you're having 1 to 2, it's really not that big a deal?
So the type of alcohol is not that big of a deal, in my opinion, right? Whether it's hard liquor, beer, like, and any kind of type of hard liquor, that's where I don't see a problem, especially if you're having 1 to 2.
Right. What's the matter?
The problem is what comes with it. So let's talk about the actual drink. What comes with the actual drink? These sugary drinks. There's 2 things that, I'll keep it very simple. There's 2 things that if you don't add with alcohol, you're in a really good spot. Number 1 is sugar. Number 2 is caffeine.
Them vodka Red Bulls.
Toughies, right? And not only vodka Red Bulls, the non-sugar free one, you're getting the double whammy, right? So this is really hard for people, but this is a change that if you're someone sitting there and you're not ready to get rid of alcohol, right?
You're like, these guys suck.
Yeah, like,
This podcast is blood.
I mean, look, this might help.
These kids are not fun.
If you are trying to be a little healthier.
Listen, this for me, not to cut you off, this for me was, if we can make somebody on the other side of the camera 1% better. I'm not saying you're going sober.
Mm-mm.
Maybe you have 1 less drink. Maybe you're like, screw it, I'm going to drink as much as I want, and that's fine. But maybe our next episode or later in the episode, you're going to see there's 1 habit I can change that will make me better. Maybe I'll walk a mile a day. Maybe I'll cut this out of my diet. If we can do 1 thing to the listener, in my point of view, that's a huge goal for me.
Yeah.
You don't have to be sober. You can go out and have fun. We're just telling you, or he is actually. He's just telling you what he knows, and if it can make you better, I'm here for it.
But you're bringing it up from such a good viewpoint, because I feel like one of the biggest problems with coaches in the space is a lot of them are all or nothing. So they're gonna tell you to just cut it out. You can't do that.
That's not realistic.
It doesn't work like that.
It's not realistic.
I'm not telling anyone to just completely remove alcohol, because again, like I said, that's not the way you're gonna stick to it.
Right.
My recommendation is just, when you are drinking, think about those 2 things. Removing as much sugar as you can. So the sugary drinks, like the cocktails and stuff like that, or if it's canned, like Twisted Teas and stuff like that.
The
like,
Twitties.
Look, the reason why that 1 little change is going to make such a big difference is because I remember I looked it up in college. I looked up how much sugar was in Twisted Tea, and I literally have never had one since. It was like 30 to 40 grams of added sugar
I don't even know
in 1 drink.
This is going to sound bad because we're going to turn off a listener here. I don't even know if anyone still drinks them. I think a lot of people have come around on the calories. We're going seltzers, 100 calories. We're doing mixed drinks, small.
Yeah,
I think a Twisted Tea light.
Let me say then the cocktails, because they have hidden sugars.
They have a lot.
Because you're
they
not
have a lot,
controlling
and they're
them.
sneaky. Give me that vodka cran.
Yeah, see, so that's a perfect example, right?
But me as a bartender, I've been seeing, just in my point of view, when I first started a couple years ago, a lot of vodka cranberries, a lot of juices, a lot of sodas. It has gone to, can I get a vodka or an alcohol water with a splash of cran,
Right.
to get that little bit of
Right.
flavor. So I think people are starting to come along and be like, hey, if I can knock out, I mean, it's the females that are ordering that. The men are don't care about calories at all.
Yeah,
They do not. They do not. But the ladies got something going. They're doing it right.
Yeah, I just think that would be the first step, is just think about just a splash, or like, yeah, if you can, especially just, and there's so many seltzers out there, right? And a lot of them taste. I mean, at least to me, they taste really, really sweet and good.
Dude, I've been trying to find the Frescas that we got.
Oh my god.
We went to.
All right, this is gonna be valuable. We're gonna put them on right now.
Yeah, we went to a game in Barclays.
Yeah, it was the JMU game.
Oh, JMU basketball game. Yeah. And we got.
Wait, let me say this. I dragged them to the JMU game.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you did. And the fans travel. JMU's a cult as much as anyone else, but we can touch on that in a later episode. I'm sorry. Go Dukes.
Roll Dukes.
Roll Dukes, sorry. Dude, we had these Frescas. I can't find them, but they are the best seltzer I've ever had.
So good.
We're gonna have to put a link in. No, we're not gonna promote them.
can.
We're not gonna promote them. We're not gonna
Just
promote.
look up Fresca seltzers.
No free shout outs, as some podcasts would
Yeah,
say.
I
No
like
free
that. I
shout
like that.
outs.
I like that. Yeah, we're not gonna put.
But a fire seltzer.
So good.
Yep.
But
So maybe that's your one of the month.
But you're getting sweetness, and then look, like, I believe like 12 ounces of a seltzer is like 99 calories. Right. And this is something important to know. Actually, that's pretty interesting. Where are those calories coming from? Because there's no
the
sugar
breakdown?
in it. Right. So alcohol is actually a macronutrient in terms of protein, carbs, and fats. I hate calling it a nutrient.
I was gonna say
obviously.
you're having people be like this
Yeah.
guy's.
But what I mean by that is it has a caloric value to it. So it has calories in it, but it's what, if you ever heard of the term empty calories,
Yeah.
that's
Donuts.
what alcohol is.
Donuts.
That's a whole different conversation.
Yeah.
But these are quite literally empty calories because you're not getting protein, carbs, or fats in the calories that are coming from alcohol. So that's why you can significantly reduce the amount of calories in alcohol if you just have just the alcohol and then like any other non-calorie beverage with it or something. So like if you see any alcoholic drink that has more than, I would say, like, let's just say at easy 100 calories, camera just shut off.
No.
But we're still recording, so let's just keep it going.
Are we?
Yeah.
All right.
So we're gonna keep ripping it, but we'll end it after this point. With calories, right? If you see 100 calories with alcohol, that's probably a good indicator that you're just getting the calories from the alcohol. Anything above that, it's probably something added. So that
Gotcha.
you can assume that there's a little more sugar or something like that.
Got ya.
So
They're mixing some goodness in there.
we will. I would love to cover the social aspect of alcohol and kind of like the norm,
What, did we die?
but that'll be for the next episode. It looks like.
Did we die up there?
Memory card. Haha.
Not like in The Sim.
Hey, that's why this is going to be a work in progress for this. But all right, since you guys can only hear us, appreciate you for tuning in for the first episode. Hope you enjoyed. Again, we're gonna free flow these things. This just happened to be an alcohol conversation. We'll see what Carson brings up next to the stage. But appreciate everyone joining.
Can I say it?
What?
Can I say it?
Say whatever you want.
Go Birds.
Oh.
Go Birds.
See you at episode 2.
See you guys.
Bro.